Ladies, let's be honest. We've all had those moments when we wake up in the morning and think, what is that smell? It can be subtle at first, but eventually you realize that for some reason you're not feeling as fresh as you did when you went to bed. As we get older, our bodies change in ways we don't always expect. And one of those changes is how our skin, sweat, and oils behave at night. I remember one night I woke up and felt that familiar discomfort of being too warm. I tossed and turned, trying to get comfortable. But there it was, this nagging feeling that something was off. I wasn't sweating in the traditional sense, but my skin felt sticky, as if it had absorbed something I hadn't noticed before. I figured I was just getting a bit older, that it was something I'd have to accept. But then, after discussing it with a friend, I realized it wasn't just me. Turns out there are habits we often overlook at bedtime that can trigger unwanted odors. And guess what? It's not just about the way we're sleeping or the food we've eaten. Doctors say that certain bedtime practices, or lack thereof, can contribute to a buildup of sweat, oils, and bacteria that turn into unpleasant smells while we sleep. Now, I know we've all got our own little rituals when it comes to winding down for the night. But let me tell you, what you do right before bed can have a huge impact on how you feel when you wake up in the morning. So, let me give you a little preview of what's coming up. I'm going to share 5 habits. 5 things that most older women are doing before bed without even realizing how they might be triggering that unwanted nighttime odor. Don't worry, I've been there, and I've learned a few tricks along the way that can help us stay fresh all night long. Before we dive in, I want to make one thing clear. This is not about judgment. Getting older doesn't mean you have to accept being smelly or uncomfortable. In fact, doctors have shared some simple yet effective tips that we can all apply to our nighttime routines. And once you start making these small changes, I promise you'll feel fresher, more confident, and more comfortable when you wake up in the morning. Let's be real for a second. If we don't take care of ourselves, who else will? We've got to be our own best advocates, especially when it comes to our bodies. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's talk about what you should stop doing before bed to keep that dreaded nighttime odor away. All right, ladies, let's get into it. The first habit we need to address is one that's surprisingly common: skipping the shower before bed. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm too tired. I had a busy day. A quick rinse in the morning is good enough. But here's the thing. While a morning shower is great for starting the day, skipping that evening routine could actually be one of the biggest contributors to nighttime odor. I'll admit, I've been guilty of this myself. There have been nights when I've just wanted to crawl into bed, throw on my comfiest pajamas, and forget about the day. But what I started to realize is that going to bed without washing off the sweat, oils, and dirt from the day doesn't do me any favors. I remember one particularly warm night. I skipped my shower after running errands, and by morning, I was dealing with that familiar, musty feeling that no one wants to wake up to. Let me tell you why this happens. As we age, our skin doesn't shed cells as quickly, and our sweat can mix with oils and dirt, causing bacteria to thrive in places we might not even notice, like the back of your neck, your underarms, or even the soles of your feet. If we don't wash that off before bed, it's like inviting odor to settle in while we sleep. Now, I know it's tempting to think, it's just one night, it won't hurt. But trust me, it adds up. If you're not cleansing your skin at night, those sweat and oil buildups get trapped in your pores. And when you're lying down for hours at a time, your body temperature rises, and that sweat just sits there, making it easier for bacteria to grow. If you've ever wondered why you wake up feeling a little, well, ripe, this could be why. Here's what I started doing differently. I made sure to dedicate just a few extra minutes in the evening to a full body wash. And I'm not talking about a quick splash of water and a face wipe. I mean a real shower, where I take the time to cleanse all those areas where sweat and oils accumulate during the day. Focus on key areas like your underarms, between your toes, behind your ears, and even your back and chest. I have found that when I use a gentle moisturizing body wash, it helps remove the sweat without drying my skin out, something that can happen as we age. And you don't need a fancy body scrub. Just a gentle washcloth or a loofah can do wonders. But it's not just about the body. Don't forget about your hair. If you've been using hair products like hairspray, dry shampoo, or even just natural oils, those can build up overnight too. A quick rinse of your hair and scalp is a must before bed, especially for those of us with longer hair or more delicate scalps. The last thing you want is to go to bed with residue from your hair products, mixing with the sweat and oils on your face and body. It's a recipe for a less than pleasant awakening. So, take the time to shower before bed. I promise it's worth it. You'll not only sleep better, but you'll also feel fresher when you wake up. And the bonus? You'll notice less of that nighttime odor that creeps up on you if you've skipped it. Next, let's move on to the second bad habit I want to talk about. And trust me, this one's just as sneaky. Sleeping in tight, non-breathable fabrics. Now, let's talk about something we all love. Our cozy, comfortable pajamas. But there's a little secret to keep in mind. Tight, non-breathable fabrics might feel great for a while, but they can actually contribute to that all-too-familiar nighttime odor we're trying to avoid. I know it's tempting to slip into those snug, soft leggings or that cute matching set of cotton jammies, but trust me, they might not be doing your skin any favors while you sleep. I've had my share of comfort fabrics that seem perfect when I first put them on. Soft, stretchy, and just warm enough to feel like a hug. But over time, I realized that these fabrics, especially synthetic ones like polyester, spandex, and nylon, don't allow your skin to breathe properly. And guess what happens when your skin can't breathe? You end up trapped in a little sauna of moisture, sweat, and heat that creates a perfect environment for bacteria to grow. That's when the odors start creeping in. I remember one night, I had this adorable silk robe I'd just bought, thinking it would be my new favorite bedtime, luxury. I slipped it on, relaxed on the couch with a cup of tea, and thought, this is it, perfect relaxation. But the next morning, let's just say, that robe was not as glamorous as I had imagined. It wasn't the robe's fault. It was the fact that I'd been marinating in my own sweat all night. While silk may seem luxurious, it's not always the best option when it comes to letting your skin breathe. And let me tell you, that morning I woke up. It wasn't just my robe that smelled. It was me. And that's when I started paying closer attention to the materials I was wearing to bed. The truth is, when we sleep, our bodies naturally release heat. If the fabric of our clothing isn't breathable, that heat gets trapped, making it easier for sweat to build up on our skin. If you're someone who experiences night sweats, and let's face it, many of us do, wearing tight or non-breathable fabrics can make things worse, creating an environment that encourages body odors to linger longer. You might not even realize it, but that cute, tight-fitting pajama set could be the culprit. So, what should you wear to bed instead? Simple. Loose, breathable fabrics like cotton, linen, or moisture-wicking blends. These fabrics allow air to circulate, keeping you cooler and more comfortable throughout the night. They also help wick away sweat, so it doesn't get trapped on your skin. Plus, they're easy to wash, which is an added bonus for keeping your pajamas fresh and odor-free. But it's not just about the fabrics themselves. It's also about fit. Those tight, form-fitting tops and leggings might be cute, but they can restrict airflow and trap heat in all the wrong places. Try opting for looser options, like a relaxed cotton t-shirt or an airy nightdress. These pieces allow your skin to breathe more freely, which means you're less likely to wake up to that uncomfortable, sticky feeling. Or worse, an unwanted smell. What I do now is focus on fabrics that work with my body, not against it. I've swapped out most of my synthetic fabrics for cotton or linen options, and I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. Not only do I feel cooler at night, but I also notice that I wake up feeling fresher, with far less of that lingering nighttime odor. And let's not forget the importance of keeping your bedding fresh as well. Even if you're wearing breathable fabrics, if your sheets aren't up to par, you could still find yourself waking up with that not-so-fresh feeling. I recommend changing your sheets at least once a week, more often if you tend to sweat more, at night. And be sure to wash your pillowcases regularly, since oils from your skin and hair can easily transfer onto them. All right, so now that we've covered fabric and bedding, let's move on to the next sneaky habit that could be contributing to those nighttime odors, your pre-bedtime skincare routine. All right, ladies, we've reached the final habit to talk about. The one that, if overlooked, can seriously affect your skin's health and contribute to that pesky nighttime odor. I'm talking about neglecting your nighttime skincare routine. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm not a skincare expert. I don't need a whole routine before bed. But trust me, it's not about fancy creams or expensive serums. It's about basic care that can help prevent odor, keep your skin healthy, and ensure you wake up feeling fresh. Here's a little confession. I used to skip my nighttime skincare routine all the time. After a long day, I'd just wash my face, brush my teeth, and call it a night. But then, I noticed something. A subtle smell that would linger on my skin, even after I'd showered. It wasn't until I started focusing on my nighttime skincare routine that I realized the problem wasn't just from my body. It was my skin. The natural oils, sweat, and dirt we accumulate throughout the day need to be properly cleansed, or they can lead to bacteria buildup that causes odor. And as we get older, our skin changes, and it's more prone to drying out, becoming irritated or holding on to things like sweat and body oils if we aren't careful. Let me tell you, I learned this the hard way. There was this one night I had a full, relaxing evening planned. I'd had a lovely bath, climbed into bed with a good book, and felt all set to drift off into dreamland. But as I settled in, I caught a whiff of something unpleasant. Sure enough, the smell came from my face. Even though I'd washed my skin, I hadn't fully treated the areas that tend to hold on to oils, like around my neck and chest. So, what's the solution? A simple yet thorough skincare routine before bed. This doesn't mean slathering on layer after layer of products. It just means focusing on cleansing, nourishing, and moisturizing the areas that need it most. First, I make sure to thoroughly cleanse my face. Not just a quick wipe with a wet cloth, but a proper cleanse using a gentle facial cleanser that works for my skin type. This helps remove the day's buildup, whether it's oils, makeup, or just the dirt we pick up from the environment. But it's not just your face you need to worry about. As we age, our neck and chest areas are particularly vulnerable to picking up smells. They have more delicate skin and sweat glands, So I make it a habit to gently cleanse and moisturize these areas too. It's a small step, but it makes a huge difference in keeping everything fresh. Now let's talk about your hands and feet. I know, it sounds like a lot to think about before bed, but these areas can trap moisture and sweat, especially when we're tucked under warm blankets. I always make sure to give my hands a good wash and moisturize them before hitting the sheets. And for my feet, I use a little foot cream and make sure to rub it in between my toes. Don't skip that. Moisturizing your feet will not only keep them soft, but will also help prevent any buildup of moisture that could lead to unpleasant odors. Lastly, a little trick I've picked up is using a light body spray or natural deodorant before bed. I'm not talking about heavy perfumes here. Just something light and refreshing that'll help you feel fresh and prevent body odor from taking hold during the night. A spritz of lavender or a similar calming scent can even help promote relaxation and improve your sleep quality. Another win for your overall health. Trust me when I say, this routine doesn't take long, but it makes a world of difference in how I feel the next morning. I wake up with soft, nourished skin, no lingering odors, and a sense of freshness that makes the whole day start off right. And with that, we've covered the 5 habits to avoid before bed. Remember, aging is a privilege, but smelling like we're aging doesn't have to be part of the deal. If you follow these simple changes, showers, breathable fabrics, and a little nighttime skincare, you'll be well on your way to keeping things fresh, both for yourself and everyone around you. Thanks for staying with me all the way to the end. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the Savvy Senior channel, and leave a comment below with your own tips or any questions you have. Stay radiant, stay fresh, and remember, we're aging like fine wine without the musty aftertaste.